How is it going, everyone? We are set to see the announcement of the next major Halo game. Rumor has it, Halo Combat Evolved Remake. Rumor has it, Halo Live Service game. That is set to be announced later this week. However, the state of Microsoft and Xbox has really come into question recently with the new Bloomberg post from Jason Schreier that has just come out, and a new Halo release is set to come. But there's a lot more going on with Microsoft right now. As 2025 has been, Xbox Game Studios has had a stellar year for game releases. The acquisition of Bethesda, the partnership with Team Ninja and Platinum Games to get out Ninja Gaiden 4, they've had some really great output this year. However, it's not all been good. Xbox Game Pass going up in price, Outer Worlds 2 trying to go up in price to $80. It's been a shaky year, and man, the future of Xbox has me worried after this post. Microsoft has insane expectations from their games division, and let's just go over the post, and I want to offer you guys my input as well. Microsoft Corp is asking its Xbox gaming division to produce profit margins that are well above the industry average, ratcheting up the pressure on its video game makers during the difficult time for the field at large. Over the past 2 years, executives at the Seattle-based software giant have set an across-the-board goal of 30% accountability margins, a term Microsoft uses in lieu of profit margins. According to people familiar with the business, the gaming division, which includes dozens of studios, has responded by canceling products, raising prices, and slashing thousands of jobs, said the people who asked not to be identified, discussing non-public information. The new goal, which hasn't been previously reported, is at the outer range of what a gaming studio can typically reach in a boom year, said Neil Barber, an analyst with S&P Global. And bear in mind, that's a boom year. Even with the good output of just game quality Microsoft has had, it's not been a boom year. It's been far from a boom year. I think it's saying it's a good year in terms of the actual reception of Microsoft. Commercially and even critically, I wouldn't call it a boom year. I would say it's okay. A 30% or better margin is usually reserved for a publisher that is really nailing it. In the past, game makers at Xbox weren't asked to hit specific numerical targets, said the people, and were largely told on focusing on making the best games possible without worrying too much about finances. The new target was implemented in the fall of 2023 by Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood, whose team has taken a larger role in the gaming business in recent years. The change has impacted strategies under Microsoft Gaming Chief Phil Spencer as the division has looked for new ways to cut costs and boost profits. In 2024, Xbox announced that it would begin releasing the majority of its games on consoles from rivals Nintendo and Sony for the first time earlier this year. And this is where the ramifications of this 30% expectation really come into play. Xbox decided to cancel a number of costly projects, including Everwild, Perfect Dark, and Project Blackbird, all of which had been in development for more than 7 years. And I think the most insulting one is Perfect Dark, because Perfect Dark was a game that was revealed as a push for people to buy Xboxes. Same thing with Fable. I don't think Fable's gonna get canceled. I think Fable will make it out. How that game turns out, we shall see. Playground is incredibly talented, but the fact that those games were revealed 5-6 years ago and they still haven't come out, and they were used to fuel a promotional muscle for the Xbox. And you can say the same thing about Wolverine to an extent, but guess what? Wolverine got its gameplay trailer. It's coming out next year. Perfect Dark, gone. Fable doesn't even have real gameplay out yet. It's a disaster. I don't think Fable's coming out in 2026, to be perfectly honest, but we'll see. And if it does come out in 2026, I think it's going to be an incredible disappointment. But man, I hope and I pray that I'm wrong about that. But not every project is expected to hit the 30% profit threshold, said the people. But many Xbox developers and groups have been presented with a new target. Moving forward, games that are either cheap to make or deemed more likely to generate significant revenue windfalls may take a priority over riskier bets, said the people, while Xbox's floundering hardware division may face a significant rethinking. There was also the talk of the next Xbox being a premium product. People are now speculating $1,000 for the next console, and ultimately, who's gonna buy that? And I am not sure that, you know, looking at the Xbox ROG Ally, and if the fundamentals of that platform and that piece of hardware is going to be carried over onto the next Xbox, I don't think that's going to be a product that a lot of people are going to be all over. And I could do a whole video on that. And I have a ROG Ally, and I like it quite a lot. However, I know that that product is not going to be for your general Madden consumer or Call of Duty consumer. I just think they might be going in a different direction that isn't going to fall in line with what the Xbox brand would ideally be for, and that is a lot of casual consumers. PlayStation can easily get the casual consumers in there. Nintendo, with their significant roster of IPs, can get the casual consumer in there. If Xbox goes to a heightened price point and gates people out, I don't think they're gonna get a lot of that casual consumer base. Maybe they don't want it, maybe they're more focused on selling lesser consoles and making more profit, but that's gonna be an interesting story. In a recent interview with Mashable, Xbox President Sarah Bond said the company's next console will be a very premium, very high-end curated experience, suggesting a departure from previous Xbox iterations. And let's talk about that idea that games that will generate significant revenue windfalls are going to take priority. What does that mean? Well, I look at games like Halo, like Forza, like Gears. That's great. Get your significant revenue windfalls there. However, that will have ramifications to how these games are designed. Xbox's best hope for a blockbuster game in recent years, Bloomberg continues, was 2021's Halo Infinite, and that turned out to be what it was, the latest entry in the most vital franchise. Despite some early accolades, the game was ultimately seen as a failure and led to a complete overhaul of the studio behind it. Later this week, Microsoft will announce a new Halo release in an attempt to resuscitate the franchise. Think about that for a second, that the verbiage resuscitate is being used for an IP like Halo. I am sorry, as somebody that grew up in the late 2000s into the early 2010s, and I remember 2007 and Halo 3 coming out, and the release of Halo 3 was a literal cultural event. I remember the cutout standees in malls, in storefronts, and it just felt like a big event. Microsoft does not have that anymore. Halo, the fall off of Halo is so sad to see, and it's depressing. It is depressing that a franchise as big as Halo has fallen off to this extent, and we are left to use verbiage like resuscitate in regards to it. And is it going to resuscitate it? I don't know. If you're looking for significant revenue windfalls from Halo, and that is still Microsoft's biggest IP, I think most people would agree with that. Oh, how are you going to get that revenue windfall in a live service game, which Halo has been, and Halo has seen some comparisons, or the next Halo game has talked about, oh, it's going to be live service like Fortnite. It's monetization, you guys. It is absolutely monetization. What is the monetization route of the next Halo gonna be? I don't know, but if you're left to target 30% profitability margins, accountability margins, as they say, what does that mean for the next Halo? And Halo is a franchise that it is not at a height. It is not at that boom period. When we talk about mountain peaks and valleys, it is absolutely at a valley right now. It is at a lesser tier. It is the weakest that the IP, I would argue, has ever been. And the next Halo game will have a level of interest. It's coming to PlayStation 5, and people will definitely check it out. But it comes down to longevity, and I think more than targeting a 30% accountability margin for Halo right now, it is about repairing and rebuilding that consumer goodwill. And does that make me optimistic about the future of Halo? It does not if we have targets like that to hit. I wouldn't be optimistic about Halo if you didn't even have this story, but the status of 343, and I liked Halo Infinite, you guys. Halo Infinite on Steam is one of my most played games on Steam. I have over 200 hours on the game. I liked Halo Infinite more than most people, but the reality is I also saw most people fall off of it, and Halo isn't what it is. And right now, we need to get Halo back to where it is and not have outrageous targets. And I'm not even convinced that 343 can do that. And if you have crazy targets to hit, what is the story of this is going to be? And what's that mean for Gears of War E-Day? Fable is a game that got revealed 5 years ago. We haven't even gotten real gameplay out of the game. I saw the reception that game had, and I am not confident in how that game is going to turn out. What does that mean for Game Pass's viability in the future at its current price point, and people being outraged about that? And it's only going to go up in price, and you're canceling all of these games. And beyond all of that, this is a PlayStation-centric channel, but this is going to have real ramifications for PlayStation as well, because we all know that competition breeds innovation. Competition is good for the industry, and PlayStation being able to run unchecked, I don't think they'll go absolutely unhinged like Microsoft is going, or perceived to be going, but PlayStation, they're going to be focusing on revenue windfalls as well. And revenue windfalls comes from live service games, and it does seem like there's a little bit of a course correcting going on right now, but this gives Sony a lot of power. Hey, we don't need to put out a lot of big games to draw people on over to our console. We need a couple of big ones every now and again, but for the most part, let Microsoft do what they're going to do. They're going to put Gears of War on our console. They're going to put Halo on our console, and if they're going to go the premium route, a $1,000 console, well, we don't have to go to $1,000, but we have no competition. Our console is already the more viable console in the market. we don't have to price it competitively either. We're not doing a $500 price tag. We're not going to do a $700 price tag. PlayStation 6, how about an $800 price tag? We'll take our little bit of profit. We'll undercut Microsoft a little bit, but it'll be at a price point where we can still make some money, but it's still going to be incredibly expensive. What does that mean for PlayStation Plus? You got to pay to play online. PS Plus is only going to go up in price as well. Everything goes up in price. HBO Max just went up in price. Every subscription service just goes up in price. And if we don't have competition, if we don't have something breathing down PlayStation's neck, or at the very least PlayStation being a little concerned, they can take the foot off the gas as well, and that's not an ideal scenario to be in either. Nintendo kind of exists on an island on their own. PlayStation not having a direct competitor is a bad thing, because I remember when PlayStation did have the direct competitor in Xbox 360, they upped their game with their first party output, and then with PS4 they needed to do something to really draw people in. Xbox going no used games. PlayStation made a big deal on being the alternative. If now you don't have a big deal to be the alternative, guess what? You take more priority in getting more out of the consumer base, because you don't have, everybody knows this, you don't have more of that competition to worry about. Everybody knows this is a basic principle, and ultimately it'll have ripple effects for the PlayStation consumers as well, and it's just bad for gaming in totality. We need Xbox here. We need competitors in the space, and I want Xbox to be in as healthy of a place as possible, but the direction they're going in right now isn't something that makes me optimistic about the next generation. We already know that next gen gaming is going to be super expensive. I think right now, if you're financially cognizant, sticking with the PS5 is no problem whatsoever. You've got a bevy of games, and technically speaking, what the PS5 is pushing out visually, I think is fine. I don't think everybody should be jumping out of their seat to pick up a PS6 in 2027, but ultimately this is going to have ripple effects in gaming. And while Outer Worlds 2, they settled with a $70 price tag, the $80 idea is still absolutely in Microsoft's head. What's Halo Combat Evolved Remake going to be priced at? Is the Halo live service game going to be a free-to-play game? Is it going to be a $70 game? What's Gears of War E-Day going to be priced at? Is it going to be an $80 game? And what does that mean for other publishers? Are they going to look at that and be like, hey, we can go $80 as well? I don't think $80 in today's economy is that great of an idea, but we'll see how it all transpires. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching. This is going to be a huge story to follow, especially heading into 2026, and especially how the landscape shifts with the next generation consoles, because I think that's going to be a big story, and I think there's going to be a lot of shocked Pikachu faces when it comes to the price point of these consoles. So I'm letting you guys know now. Get ready. Like, buckle up if you're planning on wanting a PlayStation 6 right out the gate. And you know, that in its own right, probably something that isn't really needed, but still something to be mindful of. Again, that'll do it for me. Your thoughts down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.